everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Sammy, and today I'm going to be doing a video about how I survived an unpaid internship. So I want to be a news reporter, and most news reporting jobs or internships are not paid very much. If it's an internship, they usually aren't paid, or if they are, it's not very much. And if it's your first news reporting job, you don't get paid very much. That's totally fine with me. I want to do this as a career, and I knew that going into that. But it can be a struggle when being in college and being thousands of dollars in debt and wanting to do an internship but not getting paid. So I have a list right here I wrote down, and I'm going to share with you guys how I survived my unpaid internship in Orlando, Florida. My first tip is I applied extremely early. So I started looking at internships in November. I wanted to intern in the summer, so I started looking in November, started seeing when the applications opened in December, and then applied in January. Most internships will open up that early depending on which place it is, but some of them don't start interviewing till March, but by applying early they might hire you early. So with my interview with WESH, I had an interview in February, and I got the job 2 days later, and all my other internships didn't want to interview me till mid-March, and so it would have taken a lot of time away that I could have been planning things. So by applying early, you'll be able to kind of get your resume out there, and people will be able to see, you know, you really want this because you're applying early. My second tip is apply where you can get free housing. So the reason I did not apply to places in Minneapolis where I go to school is because I didn't want to pay housing for the summer, and since I live in on-campus housing, I could get out of my contract if I had an internship. So I applied where I had family. So I applied where my family lives in Kansas, I have family in Colorado, and I have family in Florida. So I applied to those 3 places, and I got the job in Orlando, Florida, and I have grandparents that live there that were amazing enough to let me live with them for free. And you know, when you live with someone for free, it's really awesome, but I think a way I made up for that is I made them dinner a lot and just tried to help around the house as much as I could because I was getting free housing and they were really helping me out in my financial situation. Well, my third tip is see if your college or if your internship offers scholarships. So at the University of Minnesota, I'm in the College of Liberal Arts since I'm a journalism major, and they offer an unpaid internship scholarship for $2,000. You have to do, I think, 120 hours for that internship time, and then there's a few other requirements within the internship. Like if they buy you lunch or something, that's totally fine, but if you're getting like a stipend, that's a little bit different. So there's like different rules to getting the scholarship. So I waited till the scholarship came out, and I think it came out in like April. I applied, and then by the time I was in Florida, I got the $2,000 scholarship. That was really helpful when it came to being in Florida because I could use that money to buy food, or I could use that money to pay for things I might need for my internship, like a new SD card or something like that. My next tip is budget, budget, budget. So what I did, since I knew I had the internship in February, I started to work extra hours at my job. So I would wake up at 6:30 in the morning, I would get to work by 7, work till 11, go to class, and then go back to work. I did that, so I was working I think 20 hours a week. I was taking 19 credit hours. This was during the spring semester, and I was doing another internship with a magazine. I was pushing myself because I knew I was gonna need that money for the summer. My next tip is getting a side summer job. So I struggled finding a job when I was out in Florida. I applied to I think 50 places, and nobody wanted me because I had a Kansas address, a Minnesota almost college degree, and I was gonna be living in Florida. So it was really hard for me to find a job. And so I applied to places like care.com. I applied to a lot of places that were summer only jobs, so like nurseries and shaved ice places and stuff like that, and like swimming pools. And when I applied to care.com, funny story, I actually met this lady and was gonna babysit her kids, but since I wasn't gonna be there after the summer, she couldn't hire me because they needed somebody after the summer. But the reason they needed a babysitter is because they were opening a franchise. So they actually ended up hiring me there at this Italian ice shop, which was really awesome of them. And I'm so lucky that they did that for me because that really helped me when I was in Florida. The next and kind of last tip, I guess, is only buy necessary items. So when I was in Florida, I only shopped at the grocery store for food. So I would go in, I would buy sandwich stuff for lunch, I would buy dinner things like pasta and different meats and stuff. And since I lived with my grandparents, they had a lot of food there as well that they allowed me to use, which was awesome. So I was able to always have dinner there. And I was able to make my own lunch. I brought a lunch box, and I always took my lunch to my internship because you always should. You should not be asking to leave because that is not what a normal internship is like. You're there during that time and you bring your lunch. And I also did not eat out. So eating out can be really expensive, and in Florida it was very tempting because Florida has so many great places. But I think I ate out from May, once my brother left, because he drove down with me, from May all the way to end of July when my boyfriend came. I think I ate out a total of 5 times with my own money. My grandparents took me out a few times, but I think I only ate out like a total of 5 times because I was trying to make sure I had enough money by the end of the summer and not using money that I didn't need to spend. So I didn't go do things like shopping, I didn't go do all the touristy things. My brother, thankfully, he paid for our trip to Disney World that we did before I started my internship, so I was really thankful and lucky that he did that for me because I wouldn't have been able to afford half the stuff I had in Florida if it wasn't for him paying for that. So I think, you know, just budgeting out your money and just making sure that you have enough to buy groceries and things like that can really help with an unpaid internship. So that's how I survived my unpaid internship. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Hey ho, on the road again, moving on forward. Sticking stones won't break a bone.